The 1959 Chevy Impala isn't just a car, it's a rolling declaration of style, power, and mid-century excess. With its dramatic fins, radical proportions, and bold design choices, this Impala changed the way Americans saw full-size cars. But beneath that iconic exterior lie a host of secrets, some engineering, others cultural, and a few downright surprising. Today we're diving deep into 10 of the wildest, most shocking truths about the '59 Impala, the kind of details that will make you look at this classic in a completely different way. First off, that design. Those massive batwing tail fins aren't just for show. In 1959, Chevrolet lowered the roofline by 3 inches and made the body 2 inches wider on the Impala, thanks to a new X-frame chassis. That X-frame wasn't your typical structural setup. It allowed for a sleeker, lower cabin, but it also came with trade-offs. According to some, it lacked the side impact protection of more traditional frames. Meanwhile, the curb weight of the car increased significantly. Combine that with the car's width, and you've got something that feels powerful, but also a little bit wild on the road. The X-frame also changed how the car handled. It felt floaty, but surprisingly sharp in long, sweeping turns. Drivers often describe the ride as gliding, thanks to the lower center of gravity. But safety critics later argued the frame design was a compromise that favored style over structure. Number 2, the teardrop cat's eye taillights. These weren't just styling stickers, they were a major visual statement. The elongated, oval-shaped lights gave the rear end a feline, almost predatory look. When you look at a '59 Impala from behind, those tail lamps, combined with the fin shape, give a visual impression that's hard to forget, like it's about to take flight. Secret number 3, the front air scoops. Right above the grille, Chevrolet added 2 long, low air intakes, but here's the kicker. They were purely decorative. They weren't functional. That means all the drama was for design, not performance. It's a reminder of how much styling mattered in that era, even if it defied practical logic. Designers in the '50s weren't afraid to add drama just for the sake of drama, and these scoops prove it. Even though they served no purpose, they helped give the front end an aggressive, futuristic face. In photos, the car often looks like it's wearing a pair of sculpted eyebrows. Fourth on our list, the 6-way Flexomatic power seat. In 1959, not many cars offered electric adjustment, but this Impala did. You could move the seat forward, backward, up, down, and tilt the backrest, a full 6 degrees of motion. For the late 50s, that was a very luxurious touch, something that made the Impala feel more like a premium ride than just another Chevy. This feature was so advanced for its time that many owners didn't even know how to use all the adjustments. It made long road trips far more comfortable compared to competing full-size cars. Today, working Flexomatic seats are highly sought after because the motors and switches are hard to replace. Number 5, the Speedminder system. This little feature is one of the earliest examples of driver assistance. You could set a target speed on the speedometer, and if you went over it, a buzzer would sound. In the age before cruise control or electronic speed limiters, this was Chevy's way of nudging you to drive safely, or at least know when you were pushing the limits. For families in the '50s, this was almost like an early version of parental control. Kids learning to drive got warned the second they pushed too hard. The buzzer sound was unmistakable and a bit annoying, but that was the point. Modern collectors love showing it off because it feels like a real future tech from the past feature. At 6, the headlight placement. Believe it or not, the headlights on the '59 Impala were lowered by 7 inches from where they normally sat, right to the lowest legal limit at the time. This wasn't just an aesthetic choice. It gave the car a lower, more aerodynamic look, but also made it instantly recognizable on the road. Seventh secret, engine options were wild. You had a base 283 cubic inch V8, but the real star was the 348 V8, which in its top-tier tri-power form could churn out up to 335 horsepower. That kind of performance in a giant heavy cruiser made the Impala anything but a sleepy boulevard cruiser. The 8th secret is especially rare. Fuel injection wasn't dead yet. In some '59 Impalas, Chevrolet offered the 283 V8 with Rochester-style fuel injection, and those are very rare. According to experts, only a tiny number of Chevrolets that year came with that setup, making them highly collectible today. 9th, the styling was so bold, even designers questioned it. When Chevrolet introduced the 1959 Impala, opinions were mixed. According to classic car sources, even Chevrolet's own design team thought the fins might have gone a step too far, but the gamble paid off. The batwing styling became iconic, and in hindsight is recognized as one of Chevy's boldest moves ever. Finally, secret number 10, the production and popularity. Despite its wild look, the '59 Impala was a massive hit. Chevy sold over 1.4 million units that year. It wasn't just a design experiment, it became a symbol of 1950s prosperity and showmanship. And over time, that one-year-only design made it deeply desirable among collectors. Bonus fact, some of the most beautiful '59 Impalas you see today are resto mods, classic bodies brought back to life with modern power, suspension, and brakes. In one particularly stunning example, the classic 348 block was rebuilt with modern internals and even equipped with fuel injection and modern brakes. It's a perfect blend of vintage style and contemporary usability. Modern builders love the shape so much that they're willing to graft modern tech underneath without changing the body lines. You'll find resto mods with air suspension, disc brakes, and even digital dashboards hidden behind vintage panels. It's the perfect example of old school cool meeting new school performance. Now, you might be thinking, with all that style, was the Impala fast? Well, in its top configuration, yes. 335 horsepower from the 348 V8 is no slouch pair, that with a 4-speed manual available from the factory. And you've got a classic that can move. It wasn't just a cruiser, it had serious muscle pedigree. Even though the shell was shared, Chevrolet insisted on pushing the styling boundary the farthest. The fins, trim, and proportions made it clear that the Impala was the star of GM's lineup. This mix of shared engineering and unique flair helped keep the car affordable while still eye-catching. Let's not forget the rare fuel-injected 283. Fuel injection was still cutting edge in 1959, and Chevy's use of a Rochester-style setup plus original emblems makes those few surviving cars highly valuable. And on some resto mods, builders replicated the fuel injection look while modernizing the internals, preserving the spirit and the style. Perhaps one of the most surprising secrets, even though the '59 Impala was built on a cost-saving shared platform with other GM makes, Chevrolet poured more into styling than almost any other division that year. They made a bet on design, and drivers loved it. Sales shot up, and the Impala became a superstar in the full-size segment. Finally, the legacy. The '59 Impala might have been a one-year design, but it left a mark. Collectors today pay big for clean, original, or well-restored versions. Its outrageous styling, powerful engine options, and rare variants make it more than a classic. It's a symbol of a bold era in automotive history, and for many, it's not just a car, it's an icon. The 1959 Chevy Impala, a car so bold, so outrageous that even 6 decades later it still turns heads like it just rolled out of a sci-fi dream. This was more than just a car. It was Chevrolet's rebellion against conformity, a rolling piece of chrome-drenched art designed to tell the world that America wasn't just making automobiles anymore, it was making statements. But behind the iconic batwing tail fins and endless sheet metal are secrets, controversies, and engineering quirks that make the '59 Impala one of the most fascinating cars ever produced. When the 1959 Impala hit the streets, it was impossible to mistake it for anything else. Its tail fins stretched out like wings, the trunk was flat and wide, and the cat's eye taillights looked like something from a spaceship. But here's the first secret: those fins almost didn't happen. Chevy's original design for 1959 was conservative, boxy even, but after seeing Chrysler's forward-look cars dominate the market in 1957, GM's design boss Harley Earl ordered his team to go wild. He wanted a car that screamed futurism, so they literally started from scratch, sketching lines that extended past reason, and the result was what many critics called the car that broke symmetry. But the radical look wasn't just for show. The low, wide body wasn't an accident. It was born from a brand new chassis called the X-frame. This design ditched the traditional side rails and created a cruciform frame that allowed the car to sit lower, look sleeker, and handle better on straight roads. The trade-off? Safety. Without proper side rails, the Impala offered almost no protection in side impacts. Chevy never admitted it at the time, but years later, crash tests confirmed the structure was dangerously weak in collisions from the side, something engineers quietly corrected in the mid-60s. And if you ever wondered about the distinctive rear-end dip, that wide valley between the fins, that was a bold, stylistic gamble. Designers called it the Batwing Valley, and it nearly didn't make it past GM's boardroom. Some executives called it too radical, too weird, and too impractical for washing. Harley Earl overruled them, declaring, "It looks like it's flying when it's parked." That's the point. He was right. The '59 Impala became the most talked about car in America. And yet, for all its flash and presence, the 1959 Impala also carries the quiet legacy of an automotive world on the verge of major change. In many ways, the '59 was the last breath of the pure, unrestrained pre-1960s American design language, a time when fins kept rising, chrome kept spreading, and engineering teams still believed bigger, longer, and lower were the keys to the future. What came after was more restrained, more linear, more practical. But the '59 stands at that golden midpoint, wild enough to be unforgettable but grounded enough to remain usable and respected even today. One of the least discussed secrets of the car is just how radical its proportions were for factory production. When people see a '59 Impala today, many assume it must be chopped, lowered, or customized, because the roofline seems impossibly thin and the rear deck almost cartoonishly wide. But that's the thing, this is exactly how Chevy built it. The airplane wing rear deck stretched nearly to the horizon, with the batwings rising dramatically on each side like stabilizers. No other American car before or after dared push its design silhouette quite this far. This is the 1959 Chevy Impala, and now you'll never look at it the same way again. So if you ever see one of these cruising down the street with its batwing fins, soaring chrome, and that unmistakable profile, remember, there's more to it than meets the eye. Under the skin is engineering ambition, performance innovation, and design audacity, all wrapped in one classic package. Thanks for coming along on this deep dive. If you found these secrets as wild as I did, smash that like button, subscribe for more car history, and drop a comment. Which one of these facts surprised you the most? I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video.